What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Hustlers, new movie starring Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence? What is her name? Jennifer Lopez. J-Lo. Will co-starred. It's also Constance Wu is the actual star of this movie. The trailers for this movie didn't make me think it was going to be any good. Didn't really have any desire to see it. Seemed like kind of... I thought it was a comedy. I don't know if I even paid attention to the trailer. But it was rated well. Like 83% or something like that on Rotten Tomatoes. So I decided to go see it. Not a whole lot out in theaters. I mean, Ad Astra just came out. Rambo, I'll see that next week. But at the time, those movies hadn't come out yet. So I saw Hustlers, and it was surprisingly good. Despite going in knowing that it was rated way better. I mean, the trailer made it feel like I was going to go see like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like just kind of not good. Like Ocean's 8, but with strippers, I thought was maybe what I might see. Even though I did like Ocean's 8. I thought it was good. This movie was more of like... The director is a huge fan of Scorsese. It had a very much like a Goodfellas kind of a feel. Not quite at the level of Scorsese, but you could tell like if the director was a huge Scorsese fan, a huge inspiration to their desire, their dream of wanting to be a director. And this is a movie where they were going to do the epic kind of stripper hustler con man kind of movie, because it was good. For whatever reason, I didn't fully connect. There were no moments where I was really emotionally invested. I don't know if it was because it was the main characters were women, but that, I mean, I tend to get more emotional with female protagonists in anything. So generally, I tend to be more emotional, it being a female cast, but for whatever reason, maybe it was just my mood, but I just it lacked that bit of heart that I don't know if it was the writing or if it was the acting, but it just felt like if it was missing that piece. But if it had that piece, I could see this movie being nominated for shit. Like, I would not be surprised. I don't necessarily think J-Lo, Jennifer Lawrence, Jennifer Lopez, I'm not sure if her performance necessarily is like mind-blowing, but definitely the best J-Lo movie that she's ever been in. I mean, she's gorgeous. Let's start that off at the top. So this movie is about strippers in, I believe, New York, some city, maybe Chicago. I don't know. I'm sure they mentioned somewhere in here, New York. Yeah, so New York, Wall Street. Strippers in New York, and it takes you through the timeline pre-recession, so, you know, probably mid-Bush term, like after, you know, somewhere in the second term of Bush. And then it also shows what happened to the strippers and the strip club and businesses and their clientele after the recession hit, and also how they were able to hustle after the recession, and that's kind of where, you know, the name, the titular name of the movie comes from. They hustled. Has nothing to do with The Hustler, which is an amazing movie, the prequel to the first movie before Color of Money. This has nothing to do with pool, but it's interesting following the like kind of just the world of being a stripper through those, you know, cultural, national, financial disasters. So yeah, so the one thing that I think, another thing that kind of maybe put it a step back of, from being like a really great movie. Like this movie is like really close to being really great. It's just missing, like it's missing just one click of something. Maybe I just need to see it again. I don't know, but for whatever reason, it was better than I thought it would be. But like the expectations weren't quite enough because I just didn't connect for some reason. And part of that maybe a lot of the way this movie is told is through. I mean, it's mostly flashbacks. So there's an interview going on. Julia Stiles is a reporter, and she's interviewing Constance Wu. And Constance is, clearly kind of has money now, and she's recalling her times as a stripper and her connections with J-Lo's character, who is also a stripper, and the things that happened as she, kind of started stripping, and how she learned how to become a stripper, and the game of stripping, and how the game got flipped up on its head when the recession hit, when she gets pregnant, life happens. So it's like it follows, kind of jumps forward in time as the story's told. And just the fact that it's kind of interview with the story being the like flashbacks of this interview that she's doing is okay. It just, I don't know. It's constantly takes you out of the story in some way. I don't know. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is about this movie that is holding me back from liking it more. Because it's crazy. So anyway, when the recession hits, what they do to hustle is basically rape men. Not sexually, of course, but they literally do all the things that Bill Cosby would do. But instead of sex, they're stealing money. And their clients were Wall Street guys, but after the recession hit, the club went bust. There's a lot of the strippers are gone. A lot of the new strippers are, basically basically prostitutes in the strip club. So the money, the cost of what they were able to earn from these guys has gone way down. The dudes are getting more violent and demanding more. So they go out fishing, and they send a girl out to a bar in town, and they find a guy, they find a Mark, and they, buy drinks. They start getting drunk, and they're like, oh, my friends are showing up. My sisters are showing up. Here are my sisters. And then 3 to 4 to 5 hot strippers come walking in, and they drug him, right? They have a mixture of ketamine and ecstasy or something like that, which there's a funny scene where they're like developing their recipe for the drug that they want to use to drug these men. So they drug them at the bar, and then they get them to the car. They have like everybody's in on the cut. So they have drivers, they have security, everybody working at the strip club is in on it. So they get the people from the bar into the strip club, right? So it's like almost kidnapping, because they're taking them in cars to strip club, and then they just have to get their credit card, have to get them to pull their credit card out of the wallet and tell them to put it on their card or whatever. They go to the thing, and they steal the money. And so it's kind of good. They're kind of Robin Hoods in a way, because they are stealing from the Wall Street guys, the people highly responsible for the economy taking a dump. These bankers, these people that, selling things that are just imaginary. So there is that, but it's still kind of strange to be watching a scenario where I'm just thinking about, like, if this movie was about a group of dudes who were drugging women to do anything, and even just stealing their money, just the fact that dudes would be drugging women would be like crazy. But to see it flipped, where these anti-heroes on the screen are drugging dudes, taking them from one location in a car service to a strip club, dragging them into the private room, and just ringing up their cards and getting all the money. I mean, it's interesting. The story's interesting. Just the reality of the universe. It's the first stripper movie that felt at all realistic in any way. Which I don't know how realistic it is, but it really felt realistic. But yeah, Hustlers, way better than I thought it would be. Like ridiculously way better than I thought it would be. But still not an epic movie. It's like a really good impression of a good movie. But the premise is interesting, and yeah. That's it for this episode. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my original artwork over at InspiredDisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!